Monday, people talking sports. I made it.
I know, man. We were worried.
I cut it close.
Yeah.
I came straight from the airport, San Francisco.
Where did you fly into?
I did a JFK, man, the traffic.
Wow.
I brushed my teeth in the office bathroom here like a divorced man. people were looking at me. I just turned to some guy I don't know and said, she's never coming back. It was brutal. I was in Outside Lands Fest. Lord, unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, she's amazing.
I know it. She's like 19.
Yeah.
She's talking about heartbreak of like a 70-year-old blues musician.
Yeah, it is true.
She's amazing. I loved it.
She's very wise beyond her years.
I loved it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
Nah, probably nothing good.
I mean, so much is going on. Did you hear about what Jerry Jones said about Colin Kaepernick?
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
He said that, he said, my players are going to stand for the national anthem or they're going to get cut. Even crazier, Michael Irvin said, I'll show up with scissors. I'll be the one to cut them.
That's strong. Yeah.
Coming out of the gate with some hard monologue material.
You do guns weird.
I don't. It's not good. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's not really guns. I'm just like poking you. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Dude, we got a crazy show today. Bill Laimbeer.
I know, man.
Dude, one of the bad boys.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him the wrong address too, so he's gonna be pissed when he gets here. Mind games. He'll appreciate that.
Yeah.
Coming up, we're sitting with the great bad boy himself, Bill Laimbeer.
The baddest boy.
The baddest. We're back on People Talking Sports with the great Bill Laimbeer. Thank you. Why do you laugh when I say great?
Great.
Do you not believe
regular
it?
Guy.
Well, a regular guy, I couldn't do what you did in the paint, I mean, you're not that regular.
Well, I'm just a big, giant guy that happened to be a little bit successful.
Well, I mean, I guess that's probably the attitude that made your team great, that blue-collar attitude of, I'm just a regular guy. But, I mean, do you try to instill that on your team? Do you try to pass it on to the Liberty?
When I was in Detroit playing, we had a chip on our shoulder. We weren't the most talented people around. Isaiah Thomas was very good and very talented, but the rest of us are role players. And we went out and just did all the dirty work necessary to win games, and that's how you play. And hopefully our team we have at Liberty right now is able to instill that in them and be successful also.
Do you feel, you're in third in the East right now, you're 15-12. You've had some injuries. I mean, how do you adapt?
Injuries are part of the game. Everybody has them over the course of time. You have to work your way through it. We have enough depth that we can, get a good shot at this thing. It's a matter of it's a team come together at the right time in the right place.
Do you see any of yourself in someone like Tina Charles?
No, Tina Charles is much talented than I ever was. I see in her the competitiveness of wanting to win and a burning desire to win. But she's very, very talented. I mean, she's arguably the best post player in the world. I was never that way. I was just a role player and did my job. But having a player like Tina gives you a chance to win every game.
That's true. But you say you're a role player, but there are years you average close to 20 a game, 13 boards. You know what? I was looking up your stats, and one of the crazy things to me about your numbers is how many seasons you played 82 games.
Right. I played a lot of games.
That's crazy.
I would have broken the record for most games in a row, except for suspensions.
What? Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, that was like part of your game. Is like,
yeah, I was the physical player out there that sometimes caused problems for other teams. They didn't like it, and it happens. It's an emotional, physical game, and tempers flare, especially when you get in really heated competition. And incidents happen. It's part of the game.
Do you feel like that style of game is kind of lost? Because, I mean, you and Mahorn in the post, I can't think of a team with a 4-5 like that.
Every generation, it changes, it evolves, and it depends on what the league wants. In the 80s, it was very, very competitive. The sport was growing up dramatically. No players changed teams, so there was actual hatred amongst franchises. So it was very emotional and very physical. As the end of the 80s came along and the end of the 90s, the league started legislating some of the physicality away. They wanted to see the court open up and high flyers like Michael Jordan and the new players coming in had the freedom to do whatever they wanted to. So they started making the physicality go away. And it's evolved all along. So now it's just like run up and down the court, and if you breathe on somebody, it's a flagrant foul.
So, I mean, do you kind of feel partially responsible for making Jordan great? Because he couldn't get by you guys.
Well, we couldn't get by the Boston Celtics for a long time,
That's
too.
true.
You
But
know,
that's how it goes in the NBA. The torch is kind of passed.
You
right?
have to learn, and it takes mental toughness. And one thing that Boston taught us was the mental toughness part. And we beat our head on that wall for 3 or 4 years in a row with some brutal, horrifying losses, but we still persevered. So, you know, we'd like to break through sooner than that, obviously, but we never gave up. And I think that's the biggest trademark of our team in that time slot was we went through a lot of hard knocks and eventually broke through and were successful with a bunch of guys who just all believed in each other and made it happen.
So that team, it was so fierce, the competition. Are you cool with Bird now? Are you cool with McHale now? Do you talk to them at all?
McHale is okay because he's just a, hey, whatever, dude. You know, but the really intense mental competitors never really get over each other a long time. You know, Larry Bird and I wouldn't speak together walking down the street, no. Jordan a little bit maybe, but, you know, not Bird.
Wow. So, I mean, the video of that hit you hit on Bird when he went down in the playoffs.
That was an accident. It really was, but nobody believes it.
That was to see the anger in him, and then 2 games later, Parrish retaliates with a forearm to your head.
Right.
Could you
It
just talk?
happens.
It happened.
Yeah, I expected it. You know, what are they going to do? Sit there and do nothing? So. It's part of the game, so just keep on playing. And the goal was to win the series and see what happens. And the bottom line is, whatever happens in the game, whatever happens off the court, is winning the basketball game. That's all that matters.
When you're in the front court with Rodman and Mahorn, who is your favorite guy to mess with?
You mean in the opposing team?
Sure, yeah.
I don't think they're always the best player. You always want to, find a way to stop the best player. And like, when we were playing against Jordan, every time Jordan came in the lane, 3 people went over there and knocked him on his ass. Because he had, the best player, you have to make them either afraid or they want to pass the ball to somebody else who's not as good or not going to make the shot. So if you try to make them do something they don't normally do, whatever the cost.
Well, I mean, when did you see that Jordan, because the year they finally beat you, you had taken him down a few years in a row. And when he finally beat you, what did you see in him that you didn't see in previous years?
We'll use this. We got old. We were a little banged up.
Yeah.
But give them credit. It was their time then. We were just at it's like Boston. When Boston got old and they got beat up, and we took up that slack. And Chicago did the same thing to us. And Jordan had to learn to involve his teammates. I mean, he was 50 points a game, but they lost. And he gets 45 points a game, and they lost. So he had to learn that to trust his teammates. They had to get better teammates, too.
Right.
So they got some better teammates. He trusted them, and they became a better team.
Do you see any modern players that remind you of how you played when you watch?
I don't. Well, the physicality of the game is gone. I like to think myself and our team was very cerebral in how we played. We took no plays off. We were very exacting. And the championship teams do that. Look at LeBron. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
No.
And his team doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And the championship teams do that. They're very focused. They're very locked in. They have very smart players, and they make it happen. I mean, they may not be the most talented team. Cleveland wasn't the most talented team.
Yeah.
This past couple of years.
You think more talented than the Warriors?
No, Warriors are more talented across the board, but Cavaliers have LeBron James.
Right.
He's the best there is.
Yeah. Do you think he's better than Jordan?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
He's 6'8", 285, runs like the wind, jumps out of the gym. And from the moment he walked in the league, his teams won. He made their teammates better, and his teams competed for the championship from day one he walked into this league. That says something about the individual.
Yeah. When your second best player is Mo Williams and you're in the finals.
Yeah, he's
good.
pretty good.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us. We look forward to talking to you on panel as well.
Okay.
Bill Laimbeer. Stick around on People Talking Sports coming up next. We're back on People Talking Sports. First off, he's one of the original Pistons bad boys. And my mom once called me a bad boy because I had an accident on the school bus.
There we go.
Bill Laimbeer. And Anthony wrote that joke. That's not true. I wrote it. So, also, he played an Iraqi soldier, number 3 on Lost. I'm not making it up. That's actually, look it up
true,
on his IMDb. Anthony DeVito. And you know from America's Got Talent? I was also on that show. I lost to a mime.
Yeah.
I'm not making that
I
up
lost
either.
to a ventriloquist.
To a ventriloquist?
Yeah.
Gary
Good.
Vider. This is a great panel. I'm feeling good about this. First off, Ezekiel Elliott, suspended 6 games.
Yeah.
And Roger Goodell handled it very well. Apparently, the first thing he asked was, "Is there any footage of the incident?" Yeah, I mean, domestic violence in the NFL. When's it going to stop? What's going on? I mean,
it's just out of control now in terms of. But maybe this is what has to happen, where you have such a high-profile player like Ezekiel Elliott do this for things to actually change. Do you know
because
what
he's
I
still
mean?
in his prime, you mean?
Yeah,
Whereas
'cause
Ray
he's-
Rice was on the way down.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, well, they go after a high-profile guy, and he's on the Dallas Cowboys, so that's in the limelight. And then if they're showing that he could be get suspended, then it could happen to obviously anybody. So.
And it will happen to everybody, and it will
Yeah.
continue for a period of time. It will slow down, but football players are a different breed. They're very intense, and they're about physicality.
Right.
And sometimes they don't understand what is happening to themselves at times, and they get themselves caught in a bad situation. And the league is doing the right thing by trying to crack down on it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I guess I just look at Adam Silver doing such a better job with the NBA than I guess the NFL is a harder. It's a different sport.
Different sport.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Goodell has dropped the ball on so many things like this. Like when you flip out over a deflated football and domestic violence.
That's cheating. That's the integrity of the sport.
Yeah, but this is illegal.
Michael Irvin, this is still with Dallas. I mean, he said that they get this special type of treatment, and it's not the good type of treatment. It's a special type of treatment that can be detrimental. What are you shaking your head
I mean,
at?
it's just so crazy for him to say. Oh, you're saying they get special type of treatment in the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. Usually, if you do this, you go to jail. Not like you can't play the Eagles. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, they do give them the benefit of the doubt. Like if a player shows up covered in blood, they're just like barbecue sauce. We're going to assume because it's Dallas. You're fine. They give them a long leash. Dallas. It always seems to happen in Dallas for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what he's saying. He's saying that they're in, that it's in the limelight. But I mean, I think players on other teams have had problems too. I mean, you brought up Ray Rice. Ray Rice had a problem, and he wasn't as big of a star as Ezekiel Elliott. But Michael Irvin also had his own problems. But I don't think it was because he was on the Cowboys. It was just because he was doing illegal stuff. He was doing cocaine.
That's a fair point.
Right.
So, if you're going to bill yourself as America's team on the good side, well, then you're opening yourself up for anything for the news media on the bad side. And rightfully so. I mean, they're going to, you can't have both ways. You can't hold this up to a pinnacle up here, and when something happens, say, well, you're treating us differently. No, it's America's team. It's under the spotlight, and it's going to be always under the spotlight.
And what's more American than doing whatever you want and then being furious at any consequence?
Yeah.
This is fun. OJ's back in the news.
Right.
I feel like we should have confetti every time OJ's back. They're auctioning off his white Bronco on Pawn Stars. He couldn't even get Antique Roadshow.
Right.
They're doing Pawn Stars? I mean, what else are they going to auction off? Like a VHS of Naked Gun and his Heisman?
Right.
This is things have fallen. Did you know OJ back in the day?
No, I did not.
Really?
Nope. Different circles.
I just assumed that every really good athlete at a time would just cross paths, but you're right. He probably was doing different activities than you at the time.
Even if they did, they're probably like, I never met him. Don't even know.
No, if I knew him, I'd say so. Yeah, no
I
problem.
don't even drink orange juice. I'm a milk guy.
But his agent's the one who's selling the car, and then OJ is going to get out in October. So I feel like that's sticky situation right there.
Right.
You know, it's still a scar.
Do you think
that's
it's
his
cahoots?
That's his baby.
Yeah.
No, I
okay.
don't think they're in cahoots. I think the agent's doing it, and OG is going to be pissed. He's next on the list.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Why would somebody want to buy it?
Yeah, that's the right point.
I should
Yeah.
it runs. It's got to be,
Yeah.
what, 30 years old,
Yeah,
35 years old?
And they discontinued the model too, so you know whose it is. Like, yeah. That's the thing on Pawn Stars, where like, because usually when you take something into Pawn Stars, I've watched a couple episodes. There's always like a certificate of authenticity that they need, but with this, they're like, yeah, I mean, just check the blood on the door. It's right there, you know.
Yeah, but you're right. Who is collecting this?
They're going to get a vanity plate that says OJ's car and drive it around town.
Oh, we got more coming up on People Talking Sports right after this break. Stick around, more with this amazing panel.
The NHL just expanded to Las Vegas. If you had a hockey team in Las Vegas, what would you name them?
What happens here stays here.
The Las Vegas, what happens here stays here.
The Las Vegas Stars.
There's already a team called the Stars.
Las Vegas Fox.
You're a Fox.
The slot machines.
Slot machines.
Vegas gamblers.
The Brokes.
Some people are rich in Vegas, the casino owners, the hockey players, and probably the strippers.
Troublemakers.
How about the Las Vegas Sun Hats?
Ninja Turtles.
Their head coach is Splinter.
Kiss.
Kiss.
We have the Kiss.
Oh,
The French
wow.
Kiss, you know?
I'll take one of those. Oh, that's perfect. That's beautiful.
That's Joe List, our man the street, our man of the people. Great story to get me excited because, you know, we're invested 4 years in him, so you got to get excited. Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade said this is a different player than he last saw. They were working out together. This is a 35-year-old Wade, but, you know, there is, I don't know if you relate to this, but I feel like Dwayne Wade seems like he's softened a little bit over the years.
He's older.
He's older.
Right.
The war's kind of over in a way. He's won his rings. He's kind of, were you kind of like that?
I quit when that came around. I didn't, we call it stealing money. Because you really aren't competing for the championship anymore. You're not as good as you are. The worst thing I ever wanted was, he turned back the clock tonight. No, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And so,
That's a
you
good
know,
point.
there's a time to go, and you just got to find that time to go.
Yeah, Wade, I mean, he still shows it every now and then, but you're right. It's like when he hits a fadeaway, they're like vintage Wade, and you're like, wait a second.
I'm still here. Yeah.
That looked like it hurt. Like, him just jumping. But
Wade
yeah.
is softened, man. It's like he's
He is.
in Milan shopping for doggy purses with his wife on
Right.
Instagram, and you're like, this guy used to go to the rim nonstop.
Yeah.
Then he got hurt.
Then he got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that
took a
interesting
lot of abuse.
for you too? Because you were such an enforcer when you played, but you know, so people who meet you now, you're not that anymore. So is that weird for people?
A little bit. You know,
Yeah.
life moves on. You just keep on going.
Because you're like a nice, smiley guy.
You're ruining my reputation.
I hate to take you down, Bill, but you know, if I have to, I have to.
Did you feel the need when you get a good payday? Did you like, I gotta step
There is
it up?
added pressure on it. You know, it's almost after the fact, though. Once you get your money, okay, you got your money. So that's the ace in the hole. Depends on the media market, too. This one's going to chew you up pretty bad if you don't perform for the
Right.
level of the money that you get. So it comes with the territory. But
Sure.
in today's world, they're signing players for huge amounts of money. J.J. Redick for $23 million for 1 year. I mean, come
Get
on.
it, yeah. Get it. No disrespect to JJ's.
No,
He's a
go
terrific
get it, he
player,
got it.
but yeah, I mean, also, but you know, with that comes, I know, that, you know, I heard him in an interview saying he's looking for job security a couple years, but you know, because he's got a family, but
Yeah,
1 year.
$23 million in 1 year is plenty.
I like Lambert. He's unhinged today. This is exciting. Conor McGregor look-alike found in Times Square. This guy's walking around pretending to be Conor McGregor. I think he's Bulgarian. I don't know who he is.
Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan?
Or I don't know what that is. Kazakhstani? What is it?
We're not an
What does that
educated
mean?
bunch here at People Talking Sports. But he's just walking around Times Square, and people are like, oh my God, it's Conor McGregor. I mean, hopefully we have footage, and he's just like, yep, that's me.
Yeah.
What kind of psychotic personality is doing this?
Somebody who needs money, right?
Yeah.
Desperately.
Well, that's what, apparently he's a professional street workout athlete. That's his title. I mean, that's just like a convincing way of saying homeless. I mean, what?
That's a lengthy, roundabout, unemployed description.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wants free food and beverage. Maybe walk around, hey, it's Conor, hey, here, you know.
Yeah.
It's strange, but I wonder if there's a Mayweather imposter. Because that's the fight I want to see.
Yeah. Oh, the two imposters.
Imposter versus that's your undercard right there. Two goons, then the great fight.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And we're back with Liz Gonzalez and another thing.
Yes, and another thing. Before we get into that, I want to piggyback off of this Zeke conversation and say that I have been very critical of Goodell all these years, but I have to give him credit here, and I wish people would stop getting on his case about this because they're complaining that, well, he wasn't as hard on Josh Brown last year or Ray Rice. He's giving you exactly what you wanted him to give you last year and the year before, and you're still complaining about it. He's finally doing something about it. Let's all take a chill pill and relax and be happy that justice is actually being done finally.
Yeah, it's a lot for a star player, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? I'm looking forward to football season. I'm looking forward for any time that I can eat wings before 10 a.m. That it's socially acceptable.
Why are you eating wings at 10 a.m.?
Because you get the pregame, you get in the mood, you know?
You
have to dissect
you gotta wait till noon. Who eats before the game starts?
Well, I didn't think we were going to have a follow-up to that cute little joke I made. We're just going to let it be. And it was going to be an
I'm a very
interrogation.
technical person.
This is the most divisive we've ever gotten on the show, this conversation.
Well, as Sam mentioned, only 4 weeks left until the regular season starts. But until then, we're going to be watching a little bit of preseason football, which I'm happy to watch because although it means nothing, we can certainly learn something from it. So preseason lesson number 1, Eli Manning better not get hurt because otherwise we're going to be stuck watching Josh Johnson, who, for the most part, just looked super confused, or Geno Smith, who actually appeared to be rolling until he threw a terrible interception and really reminded of his green and white days.
Yeah, if the Giants have to start Geno Smith, the Giants are going to be the Jets.
In short, with better receivers.
Suck. Yeah, it's going to be unfortunate. So I hope not.
Preseason lesson number 2, if you're going to sit down for the national anthem, it has to be under one of 2 conditions. 1, you're eating a banana because potassium is important, as Marshawn Lynch has pointed out. And 2, do it while you're in Los Angeles because it's LA and nobody actually cares about the NFL.
I don't know if Marshawn Lynch actually said that he's making a political stance, other than he's just not standing because he just doesn't want to. You know, I think he's just lazy.
No, he told Jack Del Rio, he's like, I always sit for the national anthem, so I'm just going to keep doing it.
So he just lies to his coach.
He's just like, yeah.
Lynch is known as the guy who's like, yeah, I'm not going to talk to the media. I'm not going to stand up. It seems very Marshawn Lynch-like to do this.
Right.
It would be very Marshawn Lynch if after he did this, he sold hats of him taking a knee on his website. That would be the most Marshawn Lynch.
Preseason lesson number 3, and we already knew this, but Bill Belichick is a genius. The Jags beat the Patriots, and the internet went crazy. The Jags take down the Super Bowl champs. Calm down. It's preseason. Not only does it not matter, but this is exactly what Belichick wants you to think. You think he's going to hit you with his best shot if you're the Jags during the preseason? Come on, people. The guy has 5 rings.
I don't know. I think the Jaguars are better than the Patriots.
Somehow I knew one of you was going to say something.
I feel like Blake Bortles is better than Tom Brady. I don't. Is that crazy? I don't know. I think,
yes, it's very crazy.
I watched the preseason and I'm convinced. That's all I can say. You know.
Is this the highlight of their season? This preseason game against the Patriots?
Yeah, that was their Super Bowl.
That's it?
Yeah, right.
No, Bortles for MVP. You'll see it this year. Thank you for watching People Talking Sports. Keep watching us. This is the best show on television. Trust me.